Hey everybody, how's everybody doing? Pedro, great speech. You couldn't have set me up better as I talk to you guys today about the future of business. Great. Who can tell me what just happened? Okay? That's what movement building is all about. And what's happening today with the future of business is all about movements. And what we do at the Holt Prize, which I founded about a decade ago, is inspire people like Pedro to do what they do and do it best, because all it takes is one. I'm going to talk to you today about why impact is changing everything we know or used to know about business. A little bit about me. While some of you may or may not have heard about the Holt Prize and our foundation, I've probably been invited to Georgetown because of founding Falafel Inc. 10 years of impact work and venture funding and $50 million invested, and little brown 3 cents to make falafel balls is what puts you on the map and gets you to Georgetown. But it's ironic. Bite-sized impact. I've had a very wonderful career in this space. We have had the pleasure, my organization at Holt Prize, I'll talk to you a little bit about that, but more so been able to advise some great companies. I'm on the board of the United Nations Development Program and been recognized across the Middle East by some super duper publications. I've got this book coming, Books and Writing and Millennials. It's called The Pursuit of Impact, and I'll talk to you a little bit more why I think this is today life's greatest pursuit. My career started in the impact space about 10 years ago. I launched something called the Holt Prize. And the Holt Prize is the world's largest program which gives students, college students around the world, a risk-free platform to do the things that Pedro did and some of the other great impact entrepreneurs. In fact, I'm super shocked. I've got the winner of the 2016 Holt Prize in the front row. Stand up, Wyclef. Everybody should meet you. Yeah. And I swear to you, it's totally random that he's here, but Wyclef was a student. And at Holt Prize, we run thematic challenges every year, and we have young people who don't necessarily have an idea come together as a team and try to solve a challenge that we set every single year. So in 2016, it was doubling the income of urban populations through connectivity. And Wyclef's company was formed as a response to the Holt Prize Challenge. We have almost 100,000 participants every year between volunteers who organize on campuses and participants. And his team emerged through multiple rounds on campus, in country, in region, and then went to our incubator, and then finally won. And today, I'm super excited to announce that Wyclef's company, BooPass, since winning the Holt Prize just in 2016, when 12 months before that had never even thought of becoming entrepreneurs or impact entrepreneurs, is today one of Africa's largest transportation companies. And they've just won a contract which makes them the official ticketing agent using their technology, which connects people in rural to people in urban for increased economic opportunities in all of Kenya. Okay? That's the power of the Holt Prize platform. We've partnered up with the United Nations. This is, you can't really see the picture, but we've got President Bill Clinton right there in the middle, and behind them is the winner of this past year's Holt Prize, which was all about refugees. And a team out of Rutgers University, 4 Muslim Americans from Rutgers, won by creating a point-to-point ride-sharing system. And that's what we do at Holt Prize. But again, I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about why this business, the business of impact, is on the rise. 2012, we were recognized, what seems like an ages ago, as one of the top 5 ideas changing the world. I wasn't exactly sure. I knew we were having impact then, but I didn't realize it until about a year ago why President Clinton had the foresight to tell us and tell the world that the platform we had set up, again, a risk-free platform, which allows young people around the world to dream and create, and then we provide the shortcuts to entrepreneurship around it, was something that was gaining global recognition. And slowly but surely, we began cracking the code. We're on the front page of this newspaper, front page of that, right? What was it about? And then the Vatican came knocking, and I was lucky enough with a group of founding partners to design a program called the Laudato Si Challenge. co-founder, along with one of my dear friends, trusted brothers, Eric Haar, of this program that empowers young people, again, to solve climate change and migration issues, inspired by His Holiness Pope Francis. So now you've got politicians, you've got religious institutions, and you've got everyone in the world talking about young people and developing business that both serve humanity and serve capitalists simultaneously, right? And then there was this about 6 months ago, Falafel Inc., right? How many of you have been to Falafel Inc? Amazing. You know, again, I'm always humbled when I talk to people like, oh, what are you going to Georgetown? You're talking about Holt Prize and your portfolio of amazing. I was like, no, I'm talking about falafel and hummus. And it's been a great honor. But here we've built a business model which validates that the future of business is impact. To date, we've been open less than 6 months. We've fed over 35,000 refugees. We employ 2 refugees full-time, and we've just secured enough backing to open a minimum of 100 stores around the world. After opening those 100 stores, we'll literally be feeding more than 5 million refugees a year. Okay? Every store employs about 10. We have publicly traded companies trying to acquire our brand today. What that means is the idea of social innovation premium is true. It's not just about how much money goes to your bottom line. You can achieve market validation and maximizing shareholder wealth, which is what every business is meant to do. Maximize shareholder value by achieving impact. What's driving this? If you don't take anything away from today's TEDx talk, it should be this slide. By 2060, $60 trillion will be transferred from our parents and grandparents and great-grandparents' generation to millennials. The first $5 trillion by 2022. What does that mean? That means that the people controlling the money will be in charge. And why does them being in charge matter? Because millennials make decisions differently than every single generation before them. Here's the data that proves it. This is Holt Prize data plus Nielsen Global Research. 8 out of 10 millennials choose brands that they can associate and affiliate impact to, all else being equal. They don't have to go out of their way. They get at least at minimum the same quality in service or product, and the cost is equal. 60% pay a premium, and these numbers are going up every single day, every single year. So corporations of the future understand, and that's why people say the idea of social entrepreneurship versus regular entrepreneurship, the lines are no longer black and white. They're coming together as one. Because if you want to be relevant in the next decade, I assure you, look at the data, the $60 trillion in wealth transfer and the millennial buying behavior, right? It's not just purchasing. Guys, my friends right now, and I'm born in '82, so I'm on just the very tail end of the millennial generation. So my friends now are taking over. I have friends who run publicly traded Fortune 1000 companies. They're my age. They're making decisions differently, right? You think when Pedro, he's 23, by the way, congratulations. You think when Pedro's going to sell his company eventually, guys, don't get it twisted. He's going to put a handsome paycheck in his pocket. Do you think he's just going to chase bottom line? He's going to make every single decision, hiring, spending, R&D, okay? His co-founders are all going to spin off other companies that all do the same. The world is changing right now, okay? Now, let's go to my story. I wasn't always this shared value economy guy. I actually began my career on Wall Street, and I enjoyed it. I didn't choose Wall Street because I wanted to make the most amount of money that I could. In my time, right, it's like forever ago, I graduated in 2000, high school. And my parents immigrated to the US from Palestine with pretty much nothing. And as the child of immigrants, I wanted to repay mom and dad, right? Not literally, figuratively. I wanted mom to be proud when she called her sisters and brothers and family back home. What does your son do? And she had to give them the bad news that I wasn't an engineer or a doctor, right? They had come to the US and, you know, we were 5 and none of us studied medicine, right? But I thought if I maximized wealth, then we'd have a great story on our hands. It's not because I loved money. It was because back then society told us that maximizing income was a way of success. Social success. That's what I was after. The money. And I was a damn good investment banker. So I graduated undergrad, played college football, and went on. First stop, New York. I had my Series 7 in '63 before I got in, right? I had my last year of college. I literally graduated in 3.5 years. And that last half year, I got my securities licenses. By the age of 25, I was one of the top investment bankers trading CMBS, commercial mortgage-backed security. Who knows what those are? Right? Are we now too old? Right? This is the financial instrument which collapsed the financial market. Okay? March 6th, 2009, a day I won't ever forget. Dow Jones, 6,200 some points. I'm commuting now between Washington, D.C. and New York and the Middle East. I'm raising money from the Arab world because of my background. I'm fluent in Arabic, and placing it against U.S. real estate. I had a portfolio of over $3 billion and a pipeline 3 times as big, right? Getting paid commissions on every deal. Boom, 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 boom. And then the market all came crashing down. I laid off 50 people overnight and then began to rethink everything. And I said, there has to be more. But what is it, right? I thought it was money, right? And in the 10 years since I had graduated from high school and had this kind of peak of my career in finance, the world changed, right? All of you guys came into being, right? Interconnectivity, ICT, information communication, technology, kept us now from being able to turn a blind eye to the social challenges. People were blaming Wall Street, business school, and every other profit-making entity for the collapse of what was the greatest financial recession in history, or second biggest, depending on who you ask. So what was it? So I went back to business school because I wasn't sure, along with all my other friends, right? And those that didn't go back to business school, they were looking for something also, but maybe they had not thought it was money, they thought it was fame. This was the advent, now you're talking 2009, 2010, right? A lot of people were beginning to get on. You're talking about Snapchat, right? Before that, you had the Facebook, and you had other technology platforms which were creating social media networks. And people were beginning to, for the first time, to build these great social profiles online. And fame became a huge motivator. But they were getting that, and people were still coming up empty. So certainly, if it's not making money, and it's not getting famous, it's got to be pedigree, right? Let me go to Harvard, let me come to Georgetown, right? Nothing wrong with coming to school here. But a lot of folks in my generation thought, you know what? It's not going to work making money. Let me go down the path of pedigree. They were kind of right? Some of them went to business schools. Some went to foundations. Others went back maybe to their home countries that were immigrants to have this idea of pedigree, helping people, achieving social status, social inclusion. But you come up empty until you pursue impact. And what we discovered, whether it's Falafel Inc., the Laudato Si Challenge, or the Hult Prize, unlocking the pursuit of impact can get you wealth, can get you fame, and can get you all the stinking pedigree you need. Because there is no better gift to humanity than helping the world and impacting people's lives. What is impact? Changing the trajectory of people, business, society, culture. You change the trajectory. So I have impact on your life, maybe not today, but at any time in your lifetime. This presentation changes your view on the world, then I've had impact on you. The business of impact today, for every dollar spent, okay, every 1 out of 5 is spent on impact, and that number is just growing. The business of impact is an $8 trillion industry today. And remember, by 2060, $60 trillion is being transferred. What's the magic? Well, this is what we teach at Hult Prize, and this is the fundamental attributes that I built Falafel Inc. off of. Build businesses of the future that are impact-centered, profit-minded, and market-driven. Impact-centered means every decision you make yields in net impact. Hiring, spending, research, product, service, all of it. Profit-minded means you haven't built a business which depends on charity. You build businesses that have business models attached to them, which means simply by existing, you generate revenue and you have impact. All you have to do is exist. When your lights go on, you don't have to think. It's not literally selling a product, taking a percentage of profits and donating it. That's 1.0. It needs to be designed for impact. And finally, market-driven. You're solving a market-based challenge. Simple, right? The nice thing about building the companies correctly based on inputs is guess what the output that you need to measure is? Not the 31 or 60 or 100 that you often see. It's $1. Make money. At Falafel Inc., all we have to do is count how much money, revenue, comes through the door. Our charter for our company employs and empowers refugees. For every $10 spent in store, we have literally a contract signed with the World Food Program that they can take us to court over if we don't fulfill our end of the obligation. This is a company that's designed for impact, and there's many, many others. The reason that measuring dollars matters is because, folks, the world is capitalistic. You're going to grow up, you're going to get out of school, you're going to mature in your jobs, whatever the case is, and you're going to realize you need to make money because that's the currency for now, till Bitcoin. Right? If you haven't gotten to Bitcoin, it's not too early. I just started buying shares about 3 months ago. And I'm in the space. Like, it took me that long to believe. But for now, right, the only currency that you can remit, you can't go remit the social impact you're having for dollars today. You can only remit dollars, right, for impact. You need money. So if you build your company correctly, then you just count the revenue. Here's companies doing it today. Paul Paulman's on our advisory board. He serves as a judge for the Holt Prize. He's the CEO of Unilever. He doesn't talk about Unilever in terms of P&L. He looks at social innovation pipeline. He's looking at the design of their product. How much impact can his products and services have on society? And he knows that's going to drive up market price. Another example you see here on the screen is Aspire Food Group, 2013 Holt Prize winner. I just took Boo-Pass out, Wyclef. I had you guys on this screen too. Aspire Food Group, folks, is a company which is the largest manufacturer of insects as a human consumable. They've got a valuation today of well over $100 million. They started with nothing. They were an entry into the Holt Prize. A medical student, an engineer, a former investment banker, and a lawyer at McGill. Today, they're all millionaires, and they're getting livestock out of the ecosystem. And by doing that, they're able to not just save the environment, but they're able to provide an equivalent like-for-like product in terms of protein. Right? They've created a soluble, powder, colorless, literally this powder that you can add into anything. And it's made from crickets, which take literally 1 over 2,500 less gallons of water to produce. So the equivalent 1 pound of protein, 2,500 gallons, 1 pound of cricket protein, 1 gallon of water. By existing and making money, they're having net impact on the world. Right? Now Falafel Inc. Right? I put it at the end. It's what you all been waiting for. Right? What's our story? So Falafel Inc., folks, was created about 6 months ago. We had a refugee challenge at the Holt Prize, and a lot of our startups were asking us, how do you build a company that could both make money and be profitable as well as impact the refugee crisis? As the CEO of the Holt Prize, I thought, well, it's my job to at least create a company that validates. We asked young people, like we do every year, we challenged them with one problem. And that problem was, can we transform the lives and restore the rights and dignity of 10 million refugees in 5 years? Right? It's a hard task, right? So I'm Palestinian. We love eating hummus and falafel. It's our street food. So My wife was literally, I live in Northern Virginia. I call that home. My wife was in Georgetown, and she called me. She said, Quick Pita's for sale. Buy it. And I said, what am I going to do with it? She said, I don't know. Don't you always have this dream of opening a falafel and hummus shop? You know, it's like, sorry, immigrants, you know, we love opening restaurants and gas stations once we've made it, right? Everybody can attest to that. So, you know, one thing led to another, and we got into the business. And then because I run the Holt Prize, I had no other choice but to turn it into a social enterprise. It's what we do. So we thought, how do we create a product? So we said, what are the 3 characteristics that people are looking for in food? And thank you to Georgetown, who actually put us on the map. You want the truth. We said, we need to make it, I have affordable, but the reality that the word is cheap. You just can't use that in marketing, right? An affordable product, right? Second is has impact. Because remember that slide I showed you about 8 out of 10 millennials prefer? It's true, whether you do it consciously or not. So we designed the impact inside. I just used our own framework. Not very complicated. I said, how do we make sure there's impact, right? And how do we create, we went after vegan right away, right? And then we said, we can't get all the way there. Let's at least go vegetarian, right? No shawarma, sorry guys, for your protein eaters. Although we're working now on a potential vegan shawarma product, but we'll go into that next TEDx next year. But it has to be good. Do not, as you're building social enterprises and thinking about the businesses of the future, don't sell yourself short. Do not create subpar products and services, because you will only attract the millennial generation if it's as good. They will not sacrifice, right? You may have a minority, but as a majority, it has to be. So for us, it was all fresh, local, tasty, and good marketing. So our hashtag, which is picked up around the world, is Eat with Dignity. And we've now launched the Food for Good Foundation, where we're encouraging other restaurants, some publicly traded, to join the Food for Good movement so that they could provide the same business model that we do, because we are one store with one founder, right? And we are on a trajectory to get to millions and millions of refugees a year. If we had another 50 brands like ours, the refugee crisis would disappear. Full stop, right? Imagine the possibilities. So I leave that with you guys today. The future of business is real. It's impact-centered, profit-minded, and market-driven. And I wish all of you the best of luck as you move into this next generation, which is the most exciting generation of our times. Thank you.